The day of my divorce. I slapped Isabella 5 times. When Adrian arrived, the woman was crying in his arms. He roared at me. Eleanor, you're completely out of control. I raised my hand and slapped him twice. I was so busy packing. I forgot to deal with you. Adrian looked at me in disbelief, shocked that I would actually lay a hand on him. Surprised, I suppose. When you were parading around with your little secretary, did you ever think this day would come? With such short-sightedness. Maybe your company should be named after me instead of you. Because the moment I saw you two, I was already planning the perfect way to slap you both. Isabella's crying grated on my nerves. She looked at me with tear-streaked eyes. Miss, you've misunderstood. Adrian and I had no patience for this kind of fake innocence. I simply ordered my bodyguards to drag her out. I lit another cigarette and leaned against the desk. I handed him the divorce papers. Sign it. After the 30-day cooling-off period. Well, finalize the paperwork. He said nothing, his face cold. Through the smoke, I looked at him. He was undeniably handsome. It was no wonder I had been infatuated with him for so many years. But the thought of him kissing me with a mouth that had kissed someone else made my stomach turn. I took off my wedding ring and placed it on his desk with a soft click. It was as crisp as the sound of a clapperboard at the end of a movie shoot. I turned to leave. Adrian called out to me, his eyes moist. Eleanor, can we not get a divorce? I remembered the summer after our final exams. The cicadas chirping in the green leaves. Adrian stood under the shade of a tree. The wind billowed through our oversized school uniforms. The once bold and confident boy was now too shy to even look at me. Eleanor, the exams are over. Can I pursue you? No. It was as if two voices spoke at once. My past self and my present self. Because I want to be with you now. Boyfriend. Because I don't want to be with you anymore. Ex-husband. I stubbed out my cigarette on the desk, burning a dark scar into the expensive wood. I looked at Adrian, my tone flippant. Sorry, I ruined your birthday present. But you and Isabella did it on this desk. I find it filthy. Throw it out. His expression changed, a hint of surprise in his eyes. He looked at me, his gaze dangerous. You're spying on me. I chuckled and shook my head. I pulled a stack of photos from my bag and tossed them on the desk. No need. Your little secretary couldn't wait to show off. Hurry up and sign. Isn't she pregnant? The appointment for her checkup is at 3 this afternoon. She even sent the details to my phone. I unlocked my phone with a wry smile and showed it to him. Below the message that Isabella had accidentally sent to the wrong person was a message from Adrian. I have a client at Grandpa's birthday banquet this afternoon, so I'll be late. Can you handle things for me? Adrian stared at the screen, silent. I had no interest in playing statues with him. I grabbed my bag and left. My assistant peeked out from the passenger seat. Miss, are you still going to Mr. Vance's birthday banquet tonight? I pressed my temples, feeling a wave of exhaustion. No. Send the divorce papers and the gift over. Grandpa Vance is a wise man. And didn't those people from the venture capital projects want to meet with me? Let's make it tonight. On the top floor of a luxury hotel. Champagne bubbles rose in an ice bucket. I was flipping through a proposal, deep in concentration, when a flurry of footsteps approached the elevator. Adrian shoved the waiter aside and strode toward me, furious. Eleanor, are you really doing this? I frowned, not looking at him. Instead, I said to my assistant, please take our guests to the lounge. It seems Mr. Vance has something to say to me. His face was dark, his words harsh. You won't even go to Grandpa's birthday banquet. All to have dinner with these pretty boys. You even sent the divorce papers. How far are you going to take this? I sat up straight, unusually serious. You think I'm asking for a divorce to throw a tantrum? Adrian, I really don't want to be with you anymore. He was taken aback, his eyes darting away. I could hear the panic in his voice. We've been together for 10 years and married for 3. You're just going to leave. I don't believe it, but I promise you, I will never let her and the child appear in front of you again. I won't sign these divorce papers. I sighed. I didn't understand why he was being so stubborn when he had already cheated. I will not allow my husband to have an illegitimate child. Get rid of the child. Send the woman abroad. Then I might consider your proposal. Otherwise, I will have to sue for divorce. He obviously wouldn't agree. He stood up, glaring at me angrily. You're insane. That's my child. And you have fertility issues. You may never have children. I've already made so many concessions for you. Why won't you agree? Isn't this how it's done in wealthy families? As long as it's not out in the open. What wife would be as unforgiving as you? They all just turn a blind eye. Eleanor, aren't you being too greedy? I looked at the man in front of me, his eyes bloodshot, his voice hoarse, as if we were enemies. As I recalled, this was the first time he had ever yelled at me like this. To protect another woman and their child. I had actually planned to play this out a little longer. After loving him for so many years, I wanted to give our relationship a dignified end. But now, looking at him, without the haze of smoke from the office to obscure him, his face was utterly repulsive. I raised my hand and slapped him. Hard. Adrian, you disgust me. He ran his tongue over the inside of his cheek, his face full of impatience. That's enough. Why are you so angry all the time now? Just those words. My eyes instantly turned red. Tears streamed down my face like a fine, endless rain. I saw the confusion and bewilderment in his eyes. Yes, I hadn't cried when I discovered his affair or when I asked for a divorce. Why was I crying now? Over such a simple phrase. I ran away, as if fleeing a battlefield. Adrian, wasn't it you who spoiled me like this? You said that if the sky fell, you would hold it up. You wanted me to be a princess for life. You said you would tolerate my bad temper, that you would indulge my willfulness. You drove me mad, and now you watch me go mad, and you criticize my emotional instability. We were in love for 10 whole years. Adrian, you don't love me anymore. How could you not love me anymore? At 2 in the morning, I sent him one last message. Did you know? We once had a child. The reply came quickly. You have fertility issues. Isabella, what are you doing? Startled by his sudden voice, Isabella nearly dropped the phone. Nothing. Your phone was too close to the edge. I was afraid it would fall, so I was just moving it. She turned the phone face down and subconsciously deleted our entire conversation. Adrian was a little drunk. He took his phone back and dismissed her. It's late. You should go. She clearly didn't want to leave. She clung to his arm, her warm breath on his chest. It's so late. Don't make me go. The atmosphere was thick with suggestion. But looking at her doe-like eyes, he couldn't help but think of me. I would never be like that. I would always hold my head high and tell him I loved him or didn't. A sharp pain shot through his heart. He instinctively reached for his phone, wanting to talk to me. About anything. Even if it was just to be yelled at. Anything but that strange, distant look she had given him tonight. As if she really didn't love him anymore. He pushed Isabella away and dialed my number. Sorry. The number you have dialed. A wave of panic washed over him. He scrolled through his messages, but couldn't find our conversation. He searched for my name and sent a message, only to be met with a bright red exclamation mark. She had deleted him. He couldn't reach me by phone either. It seemed Eleanor really didn't love him anymore. He told himself he was just drunk, not thinking clearly. Tomorrow, he would go find me. I'm sorry. Miss left on a flight this morning. As for the rest, we don't know much. He grew anxious, grabbing the assistant's arm. Where did she go? When will she be back? The assistant shook his head and handed him the divorce papers. Miss gave me this at the airport this morning. She said the last one wasn't signed, but this one is. If you ask, she said to meet her at the Civil Affairs Bureau at 9:30 on the day the cooling-off period ends. She'll be waiting at the entrance. At that moment, my plane had just landed in Tokyo. It had been a difficult night. I couldn't remember how long I had cried, clutching the miscarriage notice. It had been locked away in a cabinet, covered in a thin layer of dust. I had imagined many possible responses from him, but I never expected him to choose not to believe me. I didn't know how to deal with the overwhelming emotions. It had been 10 years. I didn't have another 10 years to waste on him, so I chose to run. Running may be shameful, but it's effective. At first, it seemed he had gone mad looking for me, but then he stopped, as if he was sure I would come back to finalize the divorce in 30 days. It was good for us to cool down. When I came back, he would coax me, and we wouldn't get a divorce. We could be like we were before. On the day the cooling-off period ended, I returned to the country. From a distance, I saw him. He was holding a large bouquet of roses, waiting for me at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau. Anyone who didn't know better would have thought we were getting married. Eleanor, long time no see. He offered me the flowers. I didn't take them. Yes. Let's get the paperwork done first. He was still smiling brightly, his voice tinged with excitement. While you were away, I did a lot of thinking. I don't want to be apart from you. I want us to stay together. I know you're upset about Isabella. His voice was cut off. From not far away, Isabella approached, holding her belly, a gentle smile on her face. Adrian, aren't you done yet? We have to take the baby for a checkup this afternoon. Her words were for him, but her eyes were fixed on me. I knew she was trying to provoke me. During my absence, he had refused to marry her, so her only option was to target me. Isabella, what are you doing here? Didn't I tell you to stay at home? What checkup? What are you talking about? We're supposed to be taking you to get an abortion this afternoon. She ignored him and pressed his hand to her belly. Adrian, feel it. This is our child. He's so small, right here inside me. Can you really bear to kill your own child? He was clearly moved, his hand resting on the curve of her belly, his resolve softening. I stood by and watched. I wasn't angry. I just found it amusing. Adrian, if you want to play the loving father, you can do it at home. We're not even divorced yet, and you already have an illegitimate child. And you, Isabella, what an honor it is to be a mistress. You two are so moved. Standing here at the Civil Affairs Bureau. Get divorced first, then you two can get married. I'll even give you a wedding gift. My flippant attitude annoyed him. He tried to be patient. Eleanor, can we not get a divorce? I didn't come here today to divorce you. He begged me not to leave him, but he stood on the opposite side, with Isabella and their child. I suddenly felt it. In my heart, he had rotted. I didn't even listen to the rest of what he had to say. I turned and walked away. Then let's go through with the lawsuit. It will take longer, but the result will be the same. The car left the two of them far behind. My family's lawyer was efficient. The notice of the divorce lawsuit was on his desk by the afternoon. After being away for over half a month, there was a lot to catch up on. After a nap, I attended a party. I was dressed to the nines. We were announcing a new partnership tonight. After some mingling, I glanced at a booth in the distance. It seemed he was there too. He was chatting with his friends. Bro, still haven't won her back. I'd say you spoiled her too much. What man in our circle doesn't have a little something on the side? Besides, she has fertility issues. And Isabella is pregnant. He frowned, sensing something was off. Fertility issues. Who told you that? The friend quickly shut up and just glanced at Isabella. His gaze shifted to her. She squirmed under his stare and quickly explained. Adrian, I just heard it somewhere. Don't be mad. You're scaring me. It's not good for the baby. He downed his drink and looked away. If you know it's not good, you should have stayed at home. Why did you insist on coming to this party? After a few words, she pouted and looked like she was about to cry. I know. I'm causing you trouble. I'll ask Miss to forgive me. I just want my child to live. Is that so wrong? He was used to my independence and decisiveness. He used to think Isabella's gentle, watery nature was nice. But after spending more time with her, he found her constant crying annoying. He frowned and advised her. Put away your little tricks. If you wanted to come, then behave. Don't make a scene in front of Eleanor. His attitude made her even more anxious. She desperately wanted to hold on to him. But following his gaze, she could only see me, the center of the party. A pregnant woman's emotions are already sensitive. Panic and fear consumed her. She bit her lip, stood up, and walked directly toward me. Without a word, she knelt before me, clutching her belly. Miss, I'm begging you, please spare my child. The room erupted in whispers. Scandals in wealthy families were common, but rarely were they so publicly displayed. I frowned and took a couple of steps back. Miss, this is a society of laws. Don't say such frightening things. My family runs a clean business. We can't afford such slander. She became even more dramatic, grabbing my leg and wailing. I know I'm a mistress, but I just want a home for me and my child. I'm begging you, please give him to me. She was pregnant. I didn't dare touch her. I could only say helplessly, fine. He's yours. Take him. Can you let go of my leg now? Before she could reply, he rushed over, his face dark, and pulled her up. He snapped. Isabella, are you insane? She seemed not to hear him, grabbing his hand and shouting. Adrian, she doesn't want you anymore. Eleanor doesn't want you. She has fertility issues, but I'm pregnant. So can you marry me? I want you to promise me now that you'll marry me. He was silent. Her mental state was clearly unstable. I could only have a few waiters help her to a lounge to rest. Watching her leave, I moved to a corner and spoke to him. Let me go. I'm begging you. This is making things very difficult for me. His face was filled with guilt. He hesitated, then spoke. Eleanor, I love you, but the child in her belly is my responsibility. I often wonder, if we had had a child back then, would we have ended up like this? I took a sip of champagne, my voice light. That night we argued. I sent you a message. You said I had fertility issues, but I wasn't lying. We really did have a child. I saw the color drain from his face. His hand holding the champagne flute was trembling. What did you say? How did I not know? When was this? He instinctively looked at my stomach. It was flat, not at all like I was pregnant. I lowered my eyes, my heart aching from the memory. It's gone. I miscarried. The child didn't make it. It was the day you first slept with her. Don't you remember? There was a thunderstorm that day. A lot of the power lines in the city were down. The company had a blackout. And so did the villa. I asked you to come home, lying that I was scared. The truth was, I wanted to tell you the good news. My voice choked. I quietly set down my glass. That was the first time you ever lied to me. You said you were tied up at work and would be home in half an hour. But an hour passed, and you still weren't back. I couldn't reach you by phone. The rain was so heavy. I was so worried. I wanted to go look for you. I changed my clothes. As I was going down the stairs, I got a text. I thought it was you. I rushed to look. It was from her. A picture of you two in bed. My shoulders trembled violently, as if trying to suppress the sobs in my voice. I fell from the second floor. My phone flew out of my hand. The blood trickled down my legs. I tried to crawl to my phone, but I had no strength. I passed out at the bottom of the stairs. The housekeeper found me when she came back in the morning. When I woke up, the doctor told me the baby was gone. He was sobbing uncontrolled. He forgot all about his image and slowly embraced me. I pushed him lightly, but had no strength. He slid to the floor, clutching my waist and weeping. I cried just like you when I woke up. I needed you so much then, even though you had already cheated. I needed you. But the housekeeper said you had suddenly gone on a business trip with your secretary. You didn't show up until I was discharged. That whole month. Did you two have fun? He looked up from his tears, unable to form a complete sentence. He could only look at me with the helpless pleading of a child. I'm sorry, Eleanor. I'm so sorry. I really didn't know. I finished his sentence for him. You were just looking for something new. Isabella was gentle and quiet, and her profile looked a lot like mine. But her personality was the complete opposite. That day, she was just scared. So she burrowed into your arms and kissed you. A thunderstorm. Two people clinging to each other. You made a mistake. I sighed. I didn't love him anymore. But reliving this was exhausting. Let's go back to the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow and reapply. I hope we can get a smooth divorce next month. Adrian, don't hold me back anymore. I pried his hands from me and slowly walked away. Before I left, I met with the host of the party, Julian, and apologized. After such a scene, announcing a partnership would seem like a joke. It was better to reschedule and do it more formally as a press conference. He nodded. I declined his offer to drive me home. According to my family's wishes, he was my next potential marriage prospect. He was a steady and gentlemanly person, and he had been very calm about my repeated rejections lately. All right, see you next time. Be safe. Adrian must not have slept all night. With dark circles under his eyes, we completed the divorce application again. The 30-day cooling-off period began. But this time, he finally understood. In 30 days, I was really going to leave him. Are you free today? I was in a hurry when I moved out. I was thinking of going back to pack today. He nodded. My fingerprint still unlocked the villa. The housekeeper, still unsure of the situation, greeted me with a smile. Madam is back. It's been a long time. What would you like for dinner? It's hot. I'll make you something light. I smiled and told her not to bother, explaining that I was just here to pack and wouldn't be staying for dinner. I probably wouldn't be back. I said it as calmly as if we were discussing the weather. She glanced at his face and understood. She said no more. Seeing me packing, he offered to help. Let me help. Just tell me what to do. I slapped the back of his hand. No need. You'll just make a mess of my things. A sudden tear made me flinch. He had started to cry. I was stunned for a moment. Then I understood. When we first got married and I moved from my family's home to the villa, he had been the same, clumsily standing by, watching me move things, wanting to help. But he had only made things worse. I had been both angry and exasperated, and had said the same thing. Times had changed. Then, I was moving in. Now, I was moving out. There are 2 more boxes of my personal belongings. There's really no need to take them back to my place. You can have the housekeeper throw them out. Before I left, I even deleted my fingerprint from the lock. 10 years of our lives. But in the end, it didn't even take an afternoon to pack it all up. He stared in the direction I had left for a long time, until the housekeeper gently called his name. Sir, the 2 boxes Miss left behind. Leave them. I remember where they used to be. I'll put them back. My personal belongings were just things like toothbrushes, towels, the slippers I had worn, the bowl I liked to use, even the cushion from the study. He took them out, one by one, and in the long night, he put them all back. He put them back in their original places. He painfully remembered every trace of our love, every little habit of mine. The small teacup I had used by the bay window had been left out. Sometimes, on weekend nights, I would sit there reading documents. I would look up and complain to him that the investors were difficult. The clients were difficult. The employees were difficult. He smiled instinctively, but when he looked again, there was nothing left. He stayed up all night. The next morning, he saw me on television. I was with Julian, announcing the latest business partnership between our 2 families. We stood side by side, answering reporters' questions in perfect sync. The gossip, of course, centered on my recent marital problems. I nodded, not denying it, with the words an amicable separation, currently in the process of divorce. I drew a final line under our relationship. I never thought Isabella would ask to see me. When my assistant reported it, I was a little surprised. In the end, I had her brought to the conference room. Zoe, please bring a glass of hot milk. Miss is pregnant. She can't have tea. She looked at me, perplexed. I thought you would throw me out and use your family's power to ruin me. You're still willing to give me a glass of water. You're so kind. I sneered, not bothering to play games with her. Kind? Did those 5 slaps I gave you knock some sense into you? I just don't know what your strange little brain is thinking. What if I throw you out and you kneel outside my company, screaming that I'm bullying you? It would be another mess. So, miss, why are you here today? As Zoe bent down to take the tea, she was stopped by Isabella. I am not pregnant. Tea is fine. No need to bother. Zoe glanced at me, seeing my nod. She didn't insist. Isabella looked puzzled. You're not surprised at all. I was, actually. But to be precise, I had already been surprised. It was Julian who had first told me. The largest shareholder of that private hospital is a friend of mine. He told me, you made a scene at his party. So he looked into you. So why are you telling me you're not pregnant? Shouldn't you be telling Adrian? I was a little confused, but seeing her pale face, she must have been at a loss. I'm sorry. About the child. That message. I just wanted to provoke you. To make you 2 fight and get a divorce. I just wanted to be with him. I only recently found out that you were pregnant then. I understood. She was repenting, but I didn't want to hear it. I cut her off. What is this? Crocodile tears. You chose to be a mistress. You chose to show off. You chose to play the pitiful, innocent victim in front of him. Why are you repenting to me now? I will not forgive you. And I can never forgive you. You and him. Do whatever you want. Just stop bothering me. Okay. She looked like she was about to cry again. She was always so fragile, so helpless, stirring the sympathy of the men around her, who would rush to help her, like the time she secretly got into his passenger seat and, when I found out and was displeased, explained that the alley was too dark. Someone was following her, and she was just catching a ride. Or the time she, pale-faced, claimed to have a stomachache and had him take her to the hospital. And the umbrella she always forgot on rainy days. The ankle she always sprained at just the right moment. I sighed and asked her seriously, you worked so hard to get out of the mountains. Was it just to be a mistress? Her tears suddenly stopped. She stared at me blankly. What did you say? I repeated. I saw your resume when you applied to this company. It was impressive. From a poor mountainous region all the way to a top university for your bachelor's and master's degrees. You won all sorts of scholarships. Was it all just to be a mistress? I don't have a habit of being a life coach. Perhaps I was afraid she would come and bother me again. So I was very clear. Before you two got together, I had seen all the assistants around him. So when I saw your resume, I didn't try to block you just because you were a young, beautiful woman. I thought then that since you had come from such a difficult place, you must have some ambition. But look at you now. A mistress. Faking a pregnancy. Clinging to the wife's leg at a party and saying shameless things. If this is what you've become, you should return all those scholarships. Really, all that education was wasted. I sighed and looked at her. Get out. I really don't want to see you. She left without another tear. I told Zoe to have security not let her in again. I could only be a saint once. If there was a next time, I was afraid I would slap her another 5 times. I had barely looked at a document when the phone rang. Adrian. Eleanor. Did Isabella bother you? I'm sorry. I'll come and get her right now. No need. She's already gone. Next time, deal with this beforehand. After she's already been here, and you call, I have to deal with her and with you. Just remember to be at the Civil Affairs Bureau at 9:30 tomorrow morning. Don't be late. My tone made it clear I didn't want to talk. After confirming he had heard me, I hung up. Beep, beep, beep. He had wanted to use the opportunity to talk more, but was met with a dial tone. That night, she resigned. She didn't stay by his side, or even in the city. Even though I was reluctant, we still met at the Civil Affairs Bureau to get our divorce certificates. But his attire made me do a double take. A blue school uniform, the gold-rimmed glasses replaced with black-framed ones. His hair not styled, but hanging softly. I stood a short distance away, looking at him standing at the entrance. The cicadas chirped in the green leaves. He stood under the shade of a tree, just like that day. So vibrant. He walked over, chatting with me as if nothing had happened. Until we reached the entrance, he suddenly leaned in and winked. Eleanor, can you love me one more time? It was hard not to hesitate. His face hadn't changed, just like the bold and confident boy from my memories. The one who would snatch my draft paper, call me stupid, but then secretly write out the steps to the solution, drawing a tiny heart at the end. I blinked. I was awake. I patted his shoulder and pointed to a bare branch in the distance. Adrian, look, there's a bird. He looked confused and asked, where? It's already gone. Afraid he wouldn't understand. I repeated, Adrian, it's already gone. He understood my meaning. He took off the school uniform and finalized the divorce with me. The bright red booklet felt heavy in my hand. The weight of 10 years. Eleanor. That night, I didn't see that message. Isabella confessed before she left. She was the one who replied about the infertility. And she deleted the conversation. If I had seen it that night, if I had come to you, would we not have gotten a divorce? I put the certificate away and shook my head. For every night you spent with her, you'll have to ask what if for every night. Adrian, there are no what ifs. We're separated. He caught up to me and grabbed my hand. Can I walk you home one more time? I don't want to get back together. I want to pursue you again. I want to love you again. I glanced at my phone. I refused. Julian is here to pick me up. Be safe. Goodbye. I waved to him and got into the car that had been waiting. The car sped away. Do you need to cry? You can borrow my shoulder. Julian thought for a moment and added, but you can't lean on me while I'm driving. I can pull over. His words brought me back to reality. Cry. No. I'm just a little down. Let's go to my place first. My parents are very pleased with you. The red light had over a minute to go. He suddenly leaned in and asked, do you love me? I thought he was being childish and pushed his head away. Love or not. Don't you know? Don't worry. I'll give you a 2-point discount on the new project to get you through my parents' interrogation. If you have someone you like, I'll do a triple axel out of the way and explain everything. He touched the matching couple's ring on his middle finger and glanced at my bare finger. But he said nothing. He just smiled and went along with the joke to lighten the mood. 2 points for an appearance fee. You're very generous. How many points for an engagement? I smiled and played along. 5. We're not really getting married. 5 should be enough. The car moved forward. I looked in the rearview mirror, but I would never look back. The next time I saw him was 2 months later. When we got married, we had donated a sum of money to our alma mater to renovate the old school buildings. On the day of completion, the school and our old homeroom teacher invited us back for the ribbon-cutting ceremony. Standing there, it looked completely different. He smiled and joked. This money was well spent. I smiled, watching the figures playing soccer on the field, and pointed. That kid is good, but he's not as fast as you were. As soon as I said it, the boy made a gesture and quickly left the field to talk to a girl who had just arrived. But his game is just as strong as mine was. I rolled my eyes at him. His gaze fell on the diamond ring on my middle finger. He suddenly asked, "Are you and Julian getting engaged next month?" I nodded. "Yes. I'll send you an invitation. You have to come." He nodded. "Okay, I'll be there." The sun was getting stronger, so I left. He stayed behind, listening to the cicadas under the shade of a tree. Watching the young couple, he heard someone say the same words he had once said. "The exams are over. Can I pursue you?" The boy, just like him back then, was full of love. Later, when did the love fade? He couldn't remember. In that summer of endless cicada songs, I quietly turned and said goodbye to that door full of stories. Holding Julian's hand, I got engaged. Adrian didn't come after all. He knew he had forever missed the clamorous summer of the cicadas.